Good day everyone. We are here to tackle to you about purchasing process, and we need to know what is the importance of purchasing process and the step of it. The first step is need identification. This process starts when someone submits a request to the purchasing department. Step is the vendor selection. The procurement department needs to investigate vendors' request codes for the item needed and the selected of a vendor. An important of the process because reputation, cost, speed of service, and dependability all needed to be investigated before making a final decision. The third step is submit purchase requisition. Now, it's time to get approval for the purchase. After you've identified the vendor and agreed on the details, you'll need written approval for the department responsible for approving purchase. You should provide purchasing with the following details: party requesting item of services, quantity and description of item or services required, vendors information, and the last is price. Our fourth step is generate purchase order. After the purchase request has been approved, the finance department will issue a purchase order to the vendor. That purchase order signal to the vendor that purchase request has been approved and that they can be proceed to the request. The fifth step is invoice and order. The vendor will be submit invoice to the purchaser. The invoice is a request for payment and give a detailed breakdown of the cost. The invoice will be also give a deadline for payment, and you'll need to submit payment before the deadline or else there may be a penalty. The last step is payment. After the goods has been received or the service has been completed, it's time for your vendor to be paid. Finance sends over the payment to the vendor in the preferred method of payment. What is purchasing process? A business step to make a purchase are called the purchasing process. Businesses usually have to go through a formal process when they buy something. Also, when they want to buy something, they need to research, get input from different departments, negotiate, and send output payments. This is the sample flow chart of purchase order process. Creation of purchasing order process. A buyer creates a purchase order and sends it to you for your approval. Binding contract upon acceptance. Upon your agreements of purchasing order, you and your customer are legally bound for the transaction, where you are to be delivered the product, service, and there are to pay you upon completion. Delivering the goods. You complete the delivery as agree and your customer does quality check and notifies you if there are any defect or discrepancy. Closing the purchase order. If there are no defect of discrepancy, your customer is satisfied and has paid you, then the purchasing order can be closed and documented.